What's up, guys? My name is Jordan Levin, and welcome to Fighting for My Voice, where I talk about my own personal life experiences growing up with childhood apraxia of speech, and also my advocacy for childhood apraxia of speech, disabilities, inclusion, AAC, and all of the things that I'm passionate about. And welcome to your Apraxia family, where you're loved and accepted for exactly the person that you are. In this YouTube video, what we are going to be talking about are 3 of the biggest misconceptions about AAC that I have personally seen. I am an IEP advocate. I've been practicing for several years. I advocate for people with disabilities, and the misconceptions surrounding AAC, and even when I was growing up, the misconceptions around AAC are absolutely insane to me. I am such an advocate for AAC. I saw children, teenagers, adults with apraxia blossom with an AAC, and I am a very firm believer. Don't mind that person right there behind me. Say hi to them. We promote inclusion on my channel, absolutely. But I've saw so many misconceptions surrounding AAC. So we're going to be diving into those topics right into this video. But in the description down below, you can check out all of my social media handles. Be sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Be sure you check out my website, fightingformyvoice.com. You can get merchandise on my bonfire page, and I've also written books. As a fun fact, I wrote in 3 books in my book series called Jordan's World, a trilogy series about my life growing up with childhood apraxia of speech. And I wrote in a new book as well called a book series called Jordan's Journeys. There's 1 book out in it so far, and I'm right now writing my 5th book within the series. I'm also going on a tour, so tell me where you would like to see me. Leave comments down below. But other than that, let's get right into the video. I think I've said quite enough at this point. Number 1, one of the biggest things that I notice, and what is the default for people, is that somehow AAC will hinder the verbal speech production. This is completely false. This is such inaccurate information. Actually, according to research evidence-based information, we've saw no negative impacts on verbal speech. None. Either one, we've saw progression within verbal speech, which is absolutely amazing, or we've saw no negative impacts on verbal speech. Now, the point of AAC, and the point of, in my own personal opinion, of speech therapy is to build communication. AAC can help bridge the gap within frustration due to verbal speech difficulties, but also as well the person can be able to communicate what they want, what they need. Like, we want that. That is some basic necessities that a person needs to be able to communicate. We need to meet our basic wants and needs according to psychology, such as food and water, to meet all of our other needs. That is the basic foundation point. If a person doesn't have that, they can't meet all of their other psychological needs. So AAC, I'm very big on not just focusing on the verbal speech component, because we have to first work on communication. Number 2, another really big misconception I saw about AAC as well, that one AAC device application will automatically work for another child. Now, I believe that support groups such as on Facebook can be a great way for people connecting and to be able to build a sense of community. But I cannot tell you how many parents have come to me and say, I've saw Prolonged Go suggested on a Facebook group, so I downloaded that for my child and it doesn't work for my child, so AAC must not work on my child. No, that is not accurate. Now, AAC. Now, for any child, each child has individualized needs. Each child is their own person with their own co-occurring conditions. What works for one child does not mean it will automatically work for another child. So I really want to be sure that if we're looking at a child, a teenager, an adult getting an AAC device, that we go through a full AAC evaluation, trialing multiple devices over a period of time to determine which AAC will be the most appropriate for that child. There's all different types of AAC. We have low-tech AAC, mid-tech AAC, and high-tech AAC. AAC does not just look like an iPad with an application. There's all different types of AAC. And for the average AAC user, it can take 4 through 6 months to learn how to navigate their AAC device. I really encourage the child to get training within the AAC device, the parents to get training within the AAC device, for any child involved in their life to get training within the AAC device. Model the AAC device for them, because really think about this. When you're growing up and when verbal speech is modeled to you, that's partially how we learn how to use verbal speech in other settings. Maybe when you were growing up and a waiter or waitress would bring you food, your mom or dad or parent would say, okay, tell the waiter or waitress, thank you. Now, you were taught that. You were modeled that. We need to model that same thing for people who use AAC. When are opportunities when you can use your AAC? How can you navigate through the AAC to get to these different words, different phrases, and when cannot expect to give a child an iPad, an AAC, whatever mode of AAC that is, and automatically think that they're going to pick up on it, they're going to use it, and that's done. Absolutely not. And then also under the IDEA, for people who might have a child with an IEP, it is what the IDEA says is that the parents, if appropriate, and school staff members and the child are entitled to AAC training. So if this is for the purposes of the school-based environment, please make sure they get training. It is within your child's rights under the IDEA, the Individual Disability Education Act. Apraxia. Number 3, a really big misconception about AAC that drives me crazy. It drives me up the wall because I'm an AAC user myself. It's not a prerequisite. That's a difficult word for a person with apraxia, okay? It's not a prerequisite for a person to not be able to verbally speak to be an AAC user. Completely false. This depends on the person. This is really individualized. There are no prerequisites when it comes to AAC. I use AAC when my apraxia gets really difficult. Now, when I'm really passionate, I can really begin talking. I put in a lot of concentration and stuff, and I'm wanting to right now, because as I'm talking through this video, I'm passionate. I want to tell you every single bit of information that I know. But in my everyday life, speech is really difficult for me. I've been talking on camera for like a couple of years now, so me talking to a camera can be a lot easier for me now. But when I'm doing social interactions, when I'm under pressure, when I'm just talking, when I'm relaxed, speech can be a lot more difficult. And there's times where I need to use my AAC. Now, I have an app over my phone called APRAXIABESTIE that I can type and it talks as I type. That's what works best for me. And I might have to use it, honestly, for me, once every few months. But it's something I have because I know with childhood apraxia of speech, which is what I have, it's known as inconsistent speech and voicing errors. Inconsistent speech and voicing errors. I said that 2 times on purpose because this is what makes childhood apraxia of speech amongst other things. There's no prerequisites for AAC. So if you're in like an IEP meeting and they say, oh, well, we don't think AAC is appropriate because your child can talk, that is not a prerequisite whatsoever. There's no prerequisites when it comes to AAC. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. I loved this video. I love talking about AAC. I love talking about all things advocacy and awareness. Thank you so much for watching this video and for being a part of our Apraxia family. Now, once again, you can check out all of my social media links below. You can also subscribe to my newsletter as well to get the latest updates from Fighting for My Voice and everything along those realms. If you would like to have any videos touch on different subjects, be sure you comment down below. I'm always happy to take suggestions from you guys and what we can do to help educate you, your loved ones, and your community about anything disability, childhood apraxia of speech, inclusion, or just different things that you guys would like me to talk about. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and you can subscribe down below. I love you guys so much, and as always, I hope this helps.